Backrooms is going to end up being the most polarizing horror film of the year. Where did I land on it? Let's do a spoiler-free, no-hype review. What's up, cretins? What's up, creeps? My name is Chris. I am the only person talking horror on the internet. Hit the sub, help me get to 5K before my 2-year anniversary this June. Alrighty, other internet youngin' Kane Parsons presents Backrooms, the feature version of his web series, itself an adaptation of a 2019 creepypasta. The Backrooms are essentially an unexplained, interconnected series of rooms. Sometimes there's things in the rooms, sometimes there's creatures, and sometimes those creatures are malevolent. At least that's what I understand of it. I don't know, I'm old. Anyway, furniture store owner Clark enters the Backrooms. There's your movie. Alright, let's bring this up so that we can break this down. Full disclosure, I've not seen any of Kane Parsons' prior entries into the lore of the Backrooms. But I would wager heavily, based on what he's constructed here, that he's both familiar and comfortable within the space of them. He has a confidence in his filmmaking that I don't know how he's achieved at 20 years of age. He presents a very real world and a very surreal world, and he does a great job at drawing the line between the two. He also understands that the actual Backrooms aren't a setting as much as they are a character, and he treats them as such. Now, being fair, I do think that there is an overestimation on how much he thinks he can get away with before giving the audience what they want, but it's an objectively well-made film, even if we don't like the story. 12 out of 15. I really can't knock anything about Chiwetel Ejiofor's performance. He gives lead character Clark an earnest wanting to be better despite his life falling apart. And he has a troubled intensity and a loneliness that peek out every now and again. They're always just kind of there. Long short, you never really question why escaping into the Backrooms would appeal to this character. And much of that comes from Ejiofor's portrayal of him. Renata Reinsve is good at playing scared. I can't say much else about her because I don't think that they give her much else. And we really don't get to know anybody else well enough to know if their performances are truly good or bad. Ejiofor is at an undebatable 15 out of 15, no notes to him. But everyone else is either just flat or scared. Likely because that's all that they were given. So I'll issue a no fault of their own 10 out of 15. Screenplay is where you start to lose me. While I do feel that the filmmaking and the performances are strong, the writing is fairly bare bones. The dialogue doesn't give a ton for us to connect with, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of it. There isn't enough touching base with the audience to remind them why they're here, and Clark feels like the only multi-dimensional character, pun intended. Pacing also may be an issue. I like where we conclude, but it's kind of a chore to get there. 5 out of 15. So the level of scariness of Backrooms is really going to depend on Parsons' ability to hold your attention. And yeah, I get that that goes for everything, right? But I do think that people are going to check out early from this. I admittedly saw at my showing that there were people about an hour in that started looking at their phones because they were no longer invested and tired of waiting for something to happen. As the finale amped up, a couple of people actually walked out and did not come back. I felt a solid tension with a great payoff that would have been better if it was built to, rather than really just existing all along and being happened upon. If you can stay connected, it's a 7 out of 10. Obviously lower if you can't. Aesthetically, I think almost any shot taken from this movie is going to be instantly recognizable as Backrooms. But I do think that there's a difference between being unique and being appealing. And the actual Backrooms aside, being saturated in a greenish yellow is unappealing enough, but the regular world is very blah on top of it. 7 out of 10. Backrooms is a very Lynchian affair, and to its credit, everything feels organic. Like, he's not trying to be David Lynch, this is just Parsons' vision, take it or leave it. And Lynch's work wasn't necessarily rooted in traditional narrative. It's more about emotion and it's more about evocation. And I think this is where the biggest audience disconnect is going to be. Because yes, I understand that there's a subtext, and yes, I get that subtext. I don't want to go into that because I feel that that's spoiler territory. But I feel like a lot of people are going to watch Backrooms as just a dude who walks through some rooms in an alternate dimension. And I do disagree, but I also think that they're not wrong for reading it that way. There is a way to fulfill a narrative and convey a subtext, and that doesn't happen here. 2 out of 10. If you are going to Backrooms for kills, you will be very disappointed. There's only really one that stuck with me. This is much more psychological than amassing a body count. 3 out of 10. But I don't think that anybody can debate the originality of Backrooms. Yes, there are themes that have been done. Yes, there's ideas that have been conveyed, but not in this exact way. Love it or hate it, it's unlikely that you've seen anything like it. 5 out of 5 for originality. I think it's fair to go middle of the road for rewatchability. I think that there's plenty to be dissected on multiple rewatches of Backrooms. But the thing is that evaluation of deeper meaning is the only reason to really revisit Backrooms. And I don't know that that's worth my time. I don't know that it's not, but I can't outwardly say that it is. 3 out of 5. Was I intrigued by Backrooms? Yes. Did I stay engaged? Yes. Did I want to know what would happen next? Did it keep me guessing? Would I be interested in knowing more about it? Yes, yes, and yes. But the slow pace, the alienation of the viewer's expectations, and no real likable characters or scenarios make it hard to call Backrooms a film that you would enjoy. It's more one that you would contemplate. 1 out of 5. So overall, these add up to a possible 100 points, and when I chainsaw this off, your massa score for Backrooms is 55 out of 100. There will be people that love Backrooms and defend it with everything that they are. There will be people who loathe Backrooms and question why something like this would ever be made. And the thing is, when you allow your audience to interpret the narrative, both schools of thought and everywhere in between is absolutely correct. Kindred spirits, I saw the TV glow. Jacob's Ladder, anything Twin Peaks. That's all I got for you, cretins. That's gonna do it for today, creeps. Do all these things. Let me know if you saw Backrooms and what you thought of it right over here. As always, this is all just a matter of opinion. See it yourself, make your own decisions, remain critical, support horror.